Those right down there in the goal square for Essendon.
Derek Woodcock with Hayden Kennedy and Matthew James. Matthew Allen, handsome victory there, but Milburn the first kick for Geelong. Welsh getting back for Essendon. Put under some pressure, but scrambles it forward for the Bombers. Peveril, lightning quick hands for Johnson, and now the informed McPhee. And he hits Cupido on the chest, and that makes for a nice sweet return for Cupido. The runner almost chalked up his first stat for the night. It had to be Barnes, he did it. It was all too quick for me, but the Cats turned defence into attack, and Ben Graham is dangerous from there.
Now he should settle down and have a shot, Tim.
Mooney was running into the square for him.
He's on it.
A rather play fair, but Graham with the footy at that range is always a big chance.
And the distance won't worry Ben Graham. He's one of the best kicks in this AFL competition. And you can see he just steadied himself, made a bit of a mark on the turf, went back, and he's got his own routine worked out. And good to see him settle down. And for the Cats' sake, it'd be a great start if he can put it through.
Plenty of distance, but it's across the face, and the first score is a minor.
So Dustin Fletcher to do the kicking in.
And you can see right down the middle of the ground there are Geelong players in the centre square, because one thing that Fletcher does is often just bomb it long down the middle of the ground. They deny him that.
And he chooses the Dockland side. It's a wobbly old kick and it favours Geelong. Snared by Kelly. He's got options everywhere. He goes short to Ling, who's about 70 out from goal. He squares it up to Harley. Handball over the top. That's a beautiful pass from Corey Enright, the late inclusion, and he's found Kent Kingsley, who will line up slightly worse than a 45-degree angle, kicking from about 40 metres out.
Well, they set that up very well, Geelong. They took it from one wing to the opposite forward pocket, and Kent Kingsley, he'll get most of his marks on the lead. He's not a high-marking player, so he looks to go into space. But very well done by Geelong. They forced Fletcher not to kick it down the middle at the kick-in, so they got what they wanted there, won the footy, and then 2 or 3 short passes to get it across to the other side of the ground.
16 goals, 15 this year for Kent Kingsley, and he's on right early here at the Dome. Beautiful start for the Cats. There's a real confidence player, Kent Kingsley, and his form last week was pretty good. He could have easily kicked 8 goals, Kent Kingsley, last week.
Well, that's the second short pass in the handball, and Enright, another short pass to Kingsley on the lead. And the other good thing about that goal is that half a dozen Geelong players had a touch of the footy, and that's always comforting to get early touches in a game.
Start to put a smile on the face of any Geelong supporter. And Steve Brack's enjoying it. Allen winning for the second time in a row. Kelly in the midst of it for the Cats, though. Worked it cleverly to Haynes. And Geelong have started on the fly here. McVeigh, little tug on the jumper. And the ball dangerously loose for Essendon. McVeigh has to go back again. Ablett plays him hard and close. Wellman now. Aimless sort of kick, floated on, beat McPhee's thrust. Milburn, calm and tough as ever. Ling, clever kick, good result. And Geelong can build again. Unfortunate for Mackie, but he's got a good result, and Kingsley can have another go.
And that's the second lead that Dustin Fletcher's been caught behind. And we're talking about one of the very, very best full-backs for a long, long time. But if the ball is delivered as well as it is, it's very hard for any full-back to stop that.
There's a nice handball.
Yeah, that's rugby style, isn't it?
Good kick, magnificent kick. The Cats by 13.
Just see Mackie going to ground, the youngster. Good composure off one step to put that into the path of the leading Kent Kingsley. And Kingsley averages 2 goals a game. He's got his 2 already.
terrific start for the Cats. 2 goals to Kent Kingsley. On a player of high quality. Allen.
Essendon here. Essendon.
And the free kick's coming to Mark Johnson. Right smack bang in the middle of the dome. Short to Allen, looking to play on. He's got Solomon in support. In the end, decides to go himself. It's a thumping kick. Lloyd gets double teamed and Scarlett takes the mark. He played last week one of the most outstanding games you would ever see from a full-back against David Neitz. He was simply brilliant. He's in the hottest of form. He'll need to be tonight against Lloyd. To half-back. Wojcinski lost it.
And you'll see Tom Harley coming back to lend support to Scarlett. That means Scarlett can stay back and take that ball floating over the back. And that's what you like to have in a defender. Someone who's prepared to leave his own opponent to help a mate.
Enright, who's picked up Rioli, does well here. Play fair, beats off Bolton. Scrubber of a kick. Now Fletcher perhaps just struggling for confidence a bit. And Kingsley kicks his third. The Cats have jumped the Dons. And Kingsley has the lock.
And they just got it in. They just got it in as quick as they possibly could. Henry Playfair, have a look at him. Not a great kick, but at least it's inside that forward 50 area. 50-50 chance. Fletcher puts the long leg out, can't get contact. And Kent Kingsley able to pick that up. 3 goals in the opening minutes of this game. I don't think he's ever started a game as hot as that.
The Bombers are shell-shocked. Particularly Dustin Fletcher has had 3 goals kicked on him in the opening 7 minutes of the game. The Bombers scrub it forward. Cupido's there. Picked up by Murphy. Now back to Cupido on the left. Bangs it long. It's a good kick too. Lloyd's one out with Scarlett. Lloyd almost. He's got the free. It's a 50-50, isn't it? But it's a hard one to adjudicate.
Well, there's no doubt that Scarlett's arm was over Lloyd's shoulder, but and the reason you can hear the booing is that the fans have seen it on the big replay screen, and I think they think 50-50 play on umpire.
Well, who was the first offender in that? I'd say Lloyd.
Anyway, it's all conversation now because Matthew Lloyd, point-blank range, should kick Essendon's first. So it's a tough one for the umps, isn't it?
I suppose in fairness to Lloyd, you'd say he had front position, but there is so much grappling allowed, it just gets out of control.
Well, both players have got arms over each other's shoulder. Play on umpire. Tough call. Puts pressure on the umpires to pay those decisions for the entire night. Now that they've started that way.
Mate, Fraser, Matty Allen, your ball. You come towards the middle. Just go back.
Looked a good decision. Mooney ploughed into Allen, and he takes the free for the Dons. And Lucas, a long way out. Too far to score.
That's the value of Matthew Allen. It was a lovely 50-metre pass from the big ruckman to the centre-half forward.
Now Lloyd slips Scarlett here. It's a difficult angle for the left footer, and he knows it. The eyes are darting here and there.
And he doubles back. And in the end, Matthew Scarlett would be disappointed with that effort. He just got away too easily. I guess what Scarlett ensured was that Lloyd had to lead wide to a pocket. He couldn't lead up the middle of the ground because he'd blocked that space.
If he's having set shots from anywhere, this would be where he'd want him to have them from. And that's the result.
Almost not lost.
Well, it's a dodgy kick from Mooney. just comes off to Cameron Ling. He popped that one up. And Cameron Ling fortunately took the mark. A man last week, he took 13 grabs against the Demons. 5th in the AFL in marks. So he gets out a lot on his own, does the midfielder. Ling's target is Graham. Big pack of players collided there midair. Enright's on the bottom of that with Peverill. Another bounce.
Thanks, Damien.
We talk about the two tough nuts before the game. Mooney and Solomon. Allen the tap. Mark Johnson.
Held to him again. Thanks, Sam.
Umpire didn't like the bounce. It was all right though, as Allen smashed it towards Peverill. He's got about a metre on Kelly. Forces it forward. Lloyd keeps it alive, but not for long.
Matthew Lloyd and Scott Lucas are alternating between full forward and centre half forward. At the moment, Lucas back in the goal square, Lloyd up across the half forward line. Scarlett will follow Lloyd wherever he goes. You can see Lucas in the background in the goal square.
And it is Ling on Jason Johnson at the front of the pack.
Hit-outs dominated by the Bombers. You'd expect that because you got an All-Australian ruckman against the second stringer in Mooney.
And it was great work by the man who came third in the Brownlow in '99, Matthew Allen. Great trap Harley though to Kelly. Backed himself and did it pretty well. Now Maloney won't bounce for him. He's got support. Rajinski giving it to Ling. Now Haynes. And Milburn working his way forward.
This is an interesting matchup, Tim. You've got Milburn and Solomon both playing on the wing, both hard nuts.
You wouldn't want to get caught in between them, would you?
There'll be some sparks flying if you were.
Still the Cats by 13 and pressing. Bolton making an efficient spoil on Playfair. McVeigh in some strife. Chapman copped it high, slid into it.
Just set that high, Mark. Thanks, mate. Let him go now, boys.
Consistency, good. And you'll see the arm coming across the shoulder there. Bolton on Chapman. Chapman kicked 13 goals, 7 so far this year, and is developing into more than a handy forward.
Another tall coming off for the Cats. Another small on. Tenace comes on for Playfair. So they're going small, aren't they, Rob?
Well, they are at the moment. When you look at Stephen King still on the interchange bench with Henry Playfair. Thought Playfair had done a bit, but I think they're looking at pace worrying the Bombers.
The impossible angle for Chapman. Oh, what a kick that is. They have 4. At the start of the year, we were wondering again where the goals were going to come from. They've kicked 4 in half a quarter here. They're on fire.
And he did that very well, Chapman. Once he got the free kick, settled himself, took plenty of time, and kicked a really good goal for his team. And that's Henry Playfair, who started at centre-half forward for Geelong.
Surprisingly, centre breaks 4-1 in favour of the Bombers, and here's another one. Or is it? Solomon's handball was astray. He follows it up himself. Got Dyson in support, and away go the Bombers. McPhee against Hunt.
He's a versatile player, is Adam McPhee. Look at the size of him. He's the perfect bill for the modern footballer. Tall, athletic, mobile. Backs himself when he gets it. Essendon playing at both ends of the ground. At the moment, playing on a half-forward flank.
In the ruck again, it's Allen against Mooney. McPhee came in. Fisted it inside 50. Mooney, attacking it was Mark Johnson beautifully. Throwing himself on the ball was Enright. A bounce, 35 out from the Bombers' goal.
And what we saw with Cam Mooney, he'll get beaten in most of the ruck contests, but by gee, have a look at the hardness here. He really puts on a hit on Mark Johnson and then follows up to bring him to ground. Well done.
So I think it might have surprised Johnson a little bit. He was just a little bit testy about it.
The same again.
Another ball up. Geelong by 19 points. Cats producing a blistering start. Kent Kingsley kicked their first three if you've joined us late. Mooney and Allen leaning into each other. Allen's been his master in the air. Murphy dangerous. Now Mark Johnson. Nowhere to go. Quickest of hands from Rioli. Dyson nowhere to go. And the Cats with numbers and with pressure might prevail here. And that's a push in the back. Enright's free kick.
Well, it's a good victory for Geelong. In close, in hard. They have bashed and crashed against the Bombers and won out.
So Enright's been prominent early. His third disposal. Back after injury. Kelly went at it hard. Chapman's caught high again. It's got to be a free. Advantage paid it is to Ling. So Cameron Ling. Oh, he just gets put to ball before Murphy catches him. It's a good kick too. Graham from behind takes a beauty. Well, that is a super mark from Ben Graham, and he's only 45 out.
Bit of follow-up here on Johnson and Mooney. Now, there was the initial collision, and it looked as though there might have been just a little more to it than we saw first time around.
And what about the mark from Ben Graham? Fourth man up.
So, Graham. It's all a question of accuracy from here. And he's scored his second behind for the evening. So the Cats, golden opportunity there goes begging. 4-2's a man that didn't miss too many.
No, he didn't miss too many, Dougie Wade. He probably would have had a shot with a big torpedo, not the drop punt that's fashionable today.
What do you mean, probably?
Yeah.
Fletcher now long. Gee, Graham's missed twice. They could really have consolidated here. Now, is that a mark? He had first and third, and the umpire satisfied that there wasn't much of a second.
And where was the spoil from Mark Johnson coming from behind on the big man?
It's a good kick. Wellman did okay on Haynes. Kelly, goal! The Cats lead by 26 points.
And let's have a look at Mark Johnson coming from behind. And that is not good enough. That's a midfielder trying to outmark a key position forward. Undisciplined football. And it has cost his team a goal.
Graham stands 196, Mark Johnson 179.
So the Catters by 26, and that's a free kick again. Going Essendon's way in the ruck. Allen against King this time, who's on the ground. He goes out wide to Solomon. He swings around on the right and punts it long. McPhee from the side was Kelly. Johnson, Mark Johnson, that's a great snap. Boy, the Bombers needed that one. That's a fair snap, wasn't it?
And he owed his team. He owed his team, Mark Johnson, and he got it back within a minute. And I tell you what, he'll be breathing a lot easier, and so too will Kevin Sheedy.
Interesting though, Geelong have kicked 5 and Ben Graham has missed twice from set shots.
Yes.
Essendon have had to rely on a fortunate free kick and a brilliant snap. Mark Johnson brings it back to 20, but Essendon with the task in front of them. King now against Allen, and Geelong win it away for the first time. Ling scrambling it forward. Mackie in bravely against Peverill. Peverill squeezing it. Welsh almost missing Ramanauskas, who wished he did. Now Bolton. It's all being done under hot pressure. Kelly interfering with Mark Johnson.
Got hold of him here. Shake up.
Good decisive early call from the umpire. So the Bombers ball. So trail by 20 points with 7.5 minutes of the quarter left.
6 disposals, 2 clearances and a goal for Mark Johnson so far. He finds Ramanascus, who switches to the City side of the ground and finds Welsh.
Matthew Allen, have a look at Matthew Allen trying to do the hard running against Stephen King. Stephen King has missed so much football and really testing him out, and he wins out. Well done.
He did it very well, Allen. To McPhee, he's got plenty of room to move. Little handball over the top to Rioli. Forced to go sideways. Now comes back to McPhee. Runs to 40. That is a great goal. Beautiful running football from Adam McPhee. And that deserves 6 points.
Well, it's an exciting game, isn't it? It's just constant play on. And there's the big ruckman. He's run 80 metres to get there, and he really will make Stephen King work hard. And you can see McPhee, the athlete, has a run and a bounce, gets the handball off, keeps running. That's the great part about this play. Receives it again and able to finish off for the Dons.
What an acquisition he's been. Sobering for Mark Thompson. Essendon winning it away 6-2. King making a difference last time and making a difference here. The dynamics changed in the middle. Ling to Chapman. Pepperell got him. Riccardi, beautifully done. 2 of them coming at him. Novachinsky. Tenace now. Put it in the right spot. Kingsley, Fletcher just getting the fist in there. Bolton, McPhee doesn't cover some territory. He's lost it. Mackie, second gamer, just offline.
And you can just see the second gamer and the definition of the body, not all that strong. Other end of the ground, there's Matthew Lloyd, and that's what I like about his game at full forward. Gives himself enormous space to lead into. Doesn't fill his space by coming down towards the half-forward line.
Great kick by Fletcher to Jason Johnson. His target's Bolton. Good use of the football by Essendon. Gee, they move the ball quickly by foot. And he's off and running. Play on at all costs. Bolton shanks the kick into the pocket. Lloyd against Scarlett. Lloyd gets it first. Great handball to Mark Johnson. That is another sensational sack. He's got 2. This game is being played at a frenetic pace. And Mark Johnson's paid back his coach and some Robert Walls.
And look at the pace that Lloyd's got, and that is really good play by the full forward. Wins the footy, gets the handball out, just gives Johnson a bit of time. He knows what he's about, puts the ball on the angle on the boot, he hooks it through to get his second goal. But the pace at which Lloyd meets this ball and controls it is quite amazing.
Essendon lifting like a good side here. Margin back to 9. King wins again. McPhee covers it. Who can get under that and stand his ground with eyes on the ball? Tremendous courage from all concerned. Wachinsky it was for Geelong against Lovett Murray. Corey finding Graham now. How's the range? A bit over 60 out. Kicking in a hurry. Riccardi coming down the ground. And can run it. It's against him.
Just took his eyes off the ball. Riccardi saw the bigger opponent, put the hands in the back. Gee, the courage of Wachinsky. I hope we can show it a little bit later. That's what footy's all about.
Welsh drives it to half forward, and Wellman's found some space, running hard from half back. Sean Wellman looks for Lloyd, went out with Scarlett, but getting back is Rook, but he dropped the mark. Lloyd soccers off the ground. It's bouncing. It's bouncing. It's a goal. Now is it Lovett Murray or Lloyd? Doesn't matter. It's 6 points to Essendon. Boy, have they hit back hard.
Well, just playing on non-stop. I want to have a look at this just to see where the ball came off Lovett Murray's leg. Was it the knee or was it below the knee?
Might have gone through first, Rob, from Lloyd. Hard to tell, isn't it?
Wellman running off Ben Graham. There's the dribbled kick. Off the boot. Have a look at the courage. The courage of Wachinsky. Eyes on the football. Leaps, almost takes the mark, and that just shows how committed this Geelong team is tonight. Hurt himself when he landed.
Tremendous fight back by Essendon. They could be in front by quarter time. Murphy wins it away. Solomon back to Murphy. Lloyd taken wide again, but good sure hands.
Gee, I watched him, Tim. He accelerated and gained 1.5 meters on Matty Scarlett, and then he just threw himself into the air. And I hope we can see it here. It's a terrific kick by Murphy. Up. And once that big fella gets up, can't get a spoil on him. See how high the arms are at full stretch. Cannot get a fist on the footy when the arms are up like that. He looks as if he's red hot.
This for the lead, and they were 26 points down about 10 minutes ago. Wonderful opening quarter by both teams. This is high-quality football. He just missed from a tight angle, and the margin is 2 points.
Close, but not close enough.
So Josh Hunt to bring it back in. He's got a couple of loose men on the wing, but half back, he ignores them and goes right up the middle, and it's paid off handsomely. Harley picks it off the back of the pack. Quickly to Graham. Both hands on it, but couldn't take the mark. Mooney goes hard at Wellman. Might have hurt himself too, Mooney. Jason Johnson picks up at half-back under pressure. Haynes for Geelong. Tackle, free kick. Mooney's up, but he's a bit ginger.
He's hurt himself. Ben Graham should have marked that ball. Out in front, got his hands on it, couldn't secure it.
Haynes short to Ling. Still a long way home. He plays on straight away. It's a beautiful kick. Great kick to Milburn. And Milburn will line up 45 out on a slight angle as Moody comes off.
And this is the Hunt kick in. He is one of the best kicks, certainly in the Geelong side. Just gets that extra bit of distance right down the middle of the ground. You can see the numbers the Cats had. And there's the hit that Mooney puts on Wellman.
So Milburn. And that's a good kick, and the Cats steady. And take the margin back out to 8 points.
That's the 9th disposal by Cameron Ling. And it's a good one. Puts it out in space, and not much that Peverill can do to prevent the Milburn mark. And he finishes off so well. That's the Geelong forward line. The Geelong forward line see nobody up on the line, so that if they can get a fast break, if they can get a tap down, just means their midfielders can run through without Essendon opposition.
11 goals kicked in this opening quarter. Hill rucking against King. McPhee at the base of it all, as he has been so often in this opening term, having a wonderful season. Cupido, who started in the forward pocket for Essendon, having a spell now. The Cats by 8 points. Essendon have given us a couple of memorable opening quarters this season. The West Coast match here a few weeks back that started this winning sequence of 6. And now tonight.
Thanks, David.
Gary Ablett, he will get plenty of rest through the course of the game. He missed plenty of games early in the season, so he's not ready for 100 minutes.
Corey and King, and now Chapman, couple of outriders, went for it himself. Oh, that goal post. I don't know whether it or Andrew Welsh came off worse, but by golly, I haven't seen one vibrate as much as that did then.
And that's a good reason for having them padded.
So Dustin Fletcher has the footy, lurking at half-back as Johnson, and that's the direction he kicks. He works his way to the front. Ball played by Enright. Chapman gets the spoils to Kelly from a standing start into the goal square. Wellman decides to rush it through.
So far, Geelong have set up their zone and have covered the middle part of the ground. forcing Fletcher to go wide.
Wellman very wide there. Now, Ramanauskas has paid. It was touch and go. Mark Johnson under the hospital ball.
Gee, Bullen handled that ball well. It was smashed at him, and he was able to control it.
Down to Christie.
Just watching the Geelong bench, both Wojcinski and Mooney have come off. Wojcinski's looking very gingery, he's stretching his back, and Mooney his hip. Neither of them look ready to come back on very soon.
Advantage called, and Murphy, with his probing kicking, gives Solomon a chance. Rook ploughing into him. Lloyd on his wrong side.
Come back. Solomon's free, and rightfully so. Does well there to get the ball on the inside, and you can just see full-on tackle. Needed to wrap him up, not bump him.
He beat about his threshold here. Man on the mark inside 50.
10 goals, 3 he's kicked this year, so being very accurate.
That is a very good kick, and the Dons are back within 4 points. I think they could be well pleased with this. They were 26 down. It's 11 scoring shots to 7. The Cats have wasted a couple of opportunities. Bombers can go to quarter time pretty happy, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think so, Tim. And the Jared Rook tackle was very crude. Again, the Cats with space across half forward.
Geelong by 4 points. There's Solomon again, the last goal kicker. Puts it out in front of Bullen. Essendon back inside 50, but not for long. As Hunt takes the mark, looking to switch. Finds Harley. He's got Chapman on short if he can get it there. Or he might go a bit longer. He does to Enright. Still time here for the Cats. Enright to half forward, looking for Riccardi. Just managed to chop it off, did Mark Johnson. Going hard at it was Welsh.
Good work, boys. Good tackling.
So good first quarter fight back by the Bombers. 26 points down halfway through.
You see Solomon disappearing from picture to the left because Milburn sneaked forward.
In the middle, Haynes will get there first. From a standing start, he pumps it long. The pack fly, Fletcher, the fist, Kelly, under pressure to Riccardi, to Kelly, right foot snap is way offline. And that'll be quarter time. And a high-class first quarter it was too. 12 goals kicked. 6-5, plays 6-1. And Kevin Sheedy would be pretty happy with what he saw after that onslaught early.
Well, he would be happy because Geelong came out firing as we expected. They've really hit Essendon hard. 16 tackles to 6 and 16 forward entries into the 50-metre area to 12.
Quarter time, the Cats lead the Bombers by 4 points.
Exclusive across Australia, it's the round 9 clash between the Dons and the Blues. Fox Footy's Super Sunday commentary team will be at Optus Oval for all the action when Carlton battle the Western Bulldogs live and exclusive.
Stand by for another one.
Digital subscribers can also experience this game with full sports active technology.
You're watching this live around Australia on Fox Footy.
Carlton Western Bulldogs Sunday, live and exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Premium Light. Some drink it because they're responsible. What?
Others just love the taste.
The Weekend Australian has always been a source of excellence. After all, I write for it. But our esteemed editor, in his infinite wisdom, has decided to give away some posters. This month, the Weekend Australian is giving away a series of beautifully reproduced maps from the prestigious Times Atlas of the World. This Saturday, we continue the series with another detailed map. The Weekend Australian's World Map Collection continues this Saturday. Well, at least they're not footy posters.
Han Premium Light. Some drink it because they're responsible.
What?
Others just love the taste.
Last week, a big rap for a promising blue.
Carl Norman, the sky's the limit if his feet are on the ground.
Russell Robertson on that Sampy mark.
I'm too bulky, too big in the butt, mate, to jump that high.
And Tony Shaw on Collingwood's recruiting.
It's 8 years since I think the club has gone out and got a star across the line, a superstar.
Join me Monday night as Wayne Schwass and Collingwood's Josh Fraser stop by to take your calls live. Catch the fever. That's White Line Fever, 7:30 Eastern.
Someone who's prepared to leave his own opponent to help a mate.
Enright, who's picked up Rioli, does well here. Play fair, beats off Bolton. Scrubber of a kick. Now Fletcher perhaps just struggling for confidence a bit. And Kingsley kicks his third. The Cats have jumped the Dons.
Did they what? Geelong out to a 26-point lead halfway through the first term, but the Bombers fought back well. 6-5 plays 6-1. Kingsley, 3 opening goals for the Cats. Johnson's got a couple. That's Mark Johnson for Essendon. Ling 9 and Kelly 8 disposals for the Cats. Solomon 8 is leading the way for Essendon. Mark Harvey very animated at quarter time. But case of what might have been for Geelong, Robert Walsh. Ben Graham missed a couple of relatively easy shots by his standards. And also had a mark he perhaps could have taken.
Well, it would have been the icing on the cake for the quarter, wouldn't it? Because they've had 11 scoring shots. A couple of those turn them into goals. And all of a sudden it makes one heck of a difference. But at least he's presenting, and he just has to continue to do that. And he's playing on Sean Wellman, and if he gets in front, he's just got so much more size on Wellman.
Well, Graham's credit, he's had 4 disposals and 4 marks, so he's doing a good job up forward. Christy M.
Well, I mentioned Wojcinski and Mooney were off receiving treatment from the trainers. They both have got a lot of treatment. Then Mooney will start on the ground, Wojcinski will start on the bench. Now, also, I noticed that Harley and Scarlett spent a little bit of time talking to each other. Then, Robert, you mentioned that Lucas and Lloyd were alternating between full forward and centre half forward. Well, when Matthew Lloyd is in the goal square, Scott Lucas is virtually taking himself out of the contest and running Harley right out of the back line, so to free up Lloyd. So possibly Harley and Scarlett were discussing what to do there.
Expensive decoy, Scott Lucas. Thanks to Christy Malthouse as we start this second term. Rioli with his head over the footy, fed it out. McPhee's been busy and did it nicely. There is the man in question, Lucas. Raking left foot kick is a beauty to Solomon. That is skill and class, but no mark, is it? Yes, it is. It's coming back. Belated whistle.
And another centre clearance to the Bombers. That's 9-4, and they are dominating the hit-outs.
Beautiful kick from Scott Lucas.
Oh, it was a good kick. He was on his preferred side. And you can see Rioli eventually frees the ball up. Always hard for Milburn to get a spoil on that when it was kicked over his head.
9th touch coming up for Dean Solomon, which is equal game high along with Cameron Ling. There's Scarlett and Lloyd. Scarlett trying to prevent the Lloyd lead. Solomon from right on 50. It's going to be close. Just offline. A point. 1-1 to Dean Solomon. And the Bombers get to within 3 points. 41 plays 38.
And that kick just a little off the line that Hunt was after. Now there's a whistle and an Essendon free kick. Welsh wasting no time. Solomon falling over at the crucial moment. Harley able to mop it up for Kelly. Enright, the pressure told. Lucas, not too much hook on the kick. But Essendon pressing in the early seconds of the second term. Riccardi and Playfair on the bench. Playfair and King. So Mooney is flying solo at the moment.
And Mooney in the ruck against David Hill. The danger time for Geelong.
Essendon looking for the lead here. Mooney roving his own tap. Did very well. And kicking well too. Haynes.
Great stuff from Cameron Mooney. Haynes to half forward. Kicks not all that flash. Fletcher. Ablett, this is his first disposal in the match. Twisting and turning. Gets back onto the right boot. Pumps it long. Graham in front. Front and centre was Chapman. And Chapman has kicked a brilliant snap. Oh, that was a beauty. 2 goals to Chapman. And he made it look easy.
He's an improving player. He just gets better all the time. Loves playing in the forward line, kicking goals. Ablett, terrific here. Doesn't blaze away. You can just see cuts back. Wrong foot's Fletcher. A lot of players slipping. And let's have a look at Chapman. Gets in front and square. That's where the ball's most likely to drop in a marking contest. And then angles it on the boot. Everything he did, the read, the gather and the kick was perfect.
He's been good up there. Cats by 9 points. Rioli conjuring it to Jason Johnson. To Lloyd. It's been delivered beautifully for him. This is the 7th time he's had it. And a chance for him to kick his second. He's taken the honours thus far.
Just getting killed at the clearances. And again, Rioli features in the clearance. Sets up Johnson. Have a look at the pace with which Lloyd meets this ball. Hits it really hard. 10-4 the centre clearances. Geelong, the worst team in the competition at clearances. So it's a problem that they're well aware of. And you just wonder whether it's time to get the skipper on in Stephen King.
Lloyd from 47. No. So the margin is 8 points. Lloyd has 1 goal, 2. And Scarlett been reprieved, really. Not that there's much he could have done about it, because Essendon's delivery to Lloyd in its rapidity and accuracy has just been too much for anybody.
So Hunt gets the hurry up. Decides to drill it long. Looking for Harley. Hill the fist. Kelly does well like a pinball. This ricochets off Jason Johnson. To Maloney, to Mooney, to half forward, and Scarlett's run up the ground. The pass is on to Chapman. And Chapman will line up 45 out, 45-degree angle.
Well, Adam Ramanauskas really with his hands full. Takes the bump really well. And Scarlett, who doesn't do the kicking in for Geelong, it gives him a chance to get up around the midfield when Josh Hunt takes the kick-ins. And that just shows he's a pretty creative player, Scarlett, averaging 15 disposals a game, which is a lot for a fullback.
So Chapman's kicked 2 goals, 1 so far. He can make it 3-1. Splits the middle. And a headache has turned into a major migraine for Adam Ramanauskas. That's 3 goals, 1. What would you do there, Rob? Sit it out?
I think Andrew Welsh would be high on Kevin Sheedy's list of perhaps making a move. Maybe the coach will want to show a bit more faith in his player. But I would be thinking very quickly of making a change, and it looks like a change has been made. Yes, the change has been made. Mark Johnson moved to the back pocket where he made his name, and Ramanauskas further upfield.
Hill to Rioli. Ramanauskas as they take it a long way from goal. Uncharacteristic error from Wellman. Lobs it up. And Essendon are lucky to come out of that mess with a free kick. The Cats lead by 14 points. Peverill. That's a lovely kick for Lucas. Couldn't hang on. Cupido rides for him, but Harley plays it well.
Free kicks 10-4 in favour of the Bombers.
A little lopsided here in the first half last night as well. Hill, nice hands there, but not quite getting the result he was after. So a ball.
Kelly has 10 touches for the Cats, Ling 9, Solomon 9 for the Bombers. Early days in the second term. 45 out from the Bombers' goal. Mooney against Jason Johnson in the end. Ling, great tackle. McPhee, Solomon, panels into open territory. Jason Johnson just misses.
Yeah, the McPhee tackle was strong. Have a look at that. Wraps him up and throws Cameron Ling to the ground.
Hunt straight up the middle to Harley, who takes a strong grab in his 100th game.
Nice bold kick in.
Mooney, been influential in the early minutes of this quarter. They went down like skittles, leaving Welsh with clear passage. Peverill.
Chapman not happy with the treatment he got from Mark Johnson, has gone back to tell him. He's a little cock sparrow, is Chapman. That's good. Oh, arms around each other.
Careful, boys, there's cameras everywhere.
Well, neither will take a backward step. That's a situation with those two.
Fletcher, oh, that was a hospital ball for Jason Johnson, who typically did not budge. Throw in the outcome. Ling took the honours in the first quarter on Jason Johnson, but Johnson having the better of it early in the second.
And that replay showing Chapman, who thinks he got sconed.
Might have been right. Mooney the tap.
That's the beauty of Mooney. His follow-up work is a ruckman.
Ramanascus, it was a hot ball and he did it nice to Rioli. He's doing some damage in the midfield. Rook takes the mark. Half back. Now the Cats by 13 points. Rook's kick finds Ling. Over to Hunt. To Mooney. Geelong build. Oh, it's a great kick and a good mark too. By Haynes, he'll waste no time. There's a poor kick though. Who was it to? Clean bowls everyone. Wellman finally gets there. Handball under pressure. Ablett coughs it up. Kingsley beset upon by 3 Bombers. Ablett again keeps the ball alive. And in the end, the Bombers rush it through. Gee, it was a hot footy, that one.
And there's Matthew Allen, who had a very, very good first quarter.
Lovely ball from Fletcher for Wellman. That's not so good. Ramanauskas makes it good. Cats by 14. Essendon defence has been under a lot of pressure. McPhee was third in line there. Cats controlled it. Rook.
It's Mooney's 5th disposal. You can see he's like a ruck rover once the ball hits ground level.
Found his niche, hasn't he? Harley to Ling. Now Graham. Too far even for him, near the centre. That's a poor kick. And Fletcher, despite the mongrel nature of it, was able to mark it cleanly, but Graham really in 2 minds, and it wasn't a good effort for a player of his experience.
Wellman's told to play on. Oh, it's an ordinary left foot kick to Cupido. Puts him under the hammer. Cupido did well to get it back to Wellman. To the wing. So it's the Cats by 14 points. Chapman and Kingsley got 3 goals each. Mark Johnson 2 for the Bombers.
And Matty Lloyd, after spending a lot of time up at centre half forward, is now pushed deep to the goal square.
Bombers have lifted their tackling rating. Rioli nowhere to go. There's another dip. And another. And now McVeigh. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Might be the Rioli motto. Tackle from behind, adjudged in the back. Geelong's ball.
And you heard the umpire say, just carried him forward, Scotty, and the tackle comes from behind, and yes, you've got to pay that. That is in the back. Not really good awareness by Tom Harley. He had no idea that Lucas was so close.
John Barnes told to jump out by the umpire.
Harley and Scarlett.
You reckon that's a friendship pass, Tim?
I do. It might well be. 200 games between them. 199 for Geelong. Harley played one for Port Adelaide. Hill now. That's dangerous, but Essendon have numbers. Murphy. It's another by Corey. Welsh there to assist. Now Lloyd up on the other side of the centre. Now he has Rioli loose. Oh, Scarlett. What a wonderful effort that was. Didn't quite finish it with the kick. This game being played at tremendous intensity. Murphy, good hands to Peverill, and now Lloyd, 70 from home, has placed it beautifully.
It's interesting, Tim. We've seen Lloyd get a couple of kicks in the midfield, and the reason for that, he had to chase Scarlett, who left the full-back position, ran to the wing, and so Lloyd had to chase him. He's been rewarded, and have a look at this mark by Matty Scarlett coming back with the flight of the ball. Plays on. And Lucas getting away from Harley there, so not much point. Scarlett getting a couple of kicks, Lloyd getting a couple of kicks, because Lloyd's in the forward line will hurt you.
It's a little wayward, and it's a costly miss. The difference 13 points.
Stephen King has snuck on for Geelong.
Well, Stephen King on, and that's a lovely kick by Hunt.
Finds Wojcinski. He goes straight up the middle, but who to? No mark to Essendon defenders. There's a couple flew there. Welsh was one of them, but in the end he gets a footy anyway. And he's given it up. Oh, just. Hunt just outstretched enough. He got it on the second bite. Oh, a few errors at the moment. Harley's tried to sell a dummy to Fletcher. Now he gets to Kingsley. He finds himself at half back. To Enright. To the 50, Graham. But he's taken 6 marks, and that's a good haul for a forward halfway through his second term. What's he going to do? He's 60 from goal. Will he go for home? It's a big bomb, but it's way, way offline. Out on the full.
Again, he looked indecisive. It was as though he just wasn't committed to the idea of taking responsibility for the shot at goal. That's a long kick from Murphy. And a lovely mark. Solomon. Quick movement by Essendon here. Hunt did well on Ramanauskas, but Rioli sets Ramanauskas out. Oh, wonderful effort.
Ramanauskas has been moved forward after Chapman beat him, kicked 3 goals on him, and a deft touch of Rioli. I really enjoy watching him play football, and the goal to Ramanauskas is his 50th career goal, and he'd be happy that he's been moved forward and it's worked out.
So the Ramanauskas move forward pays instant dividends. 50th career goal for the Bomber, and it's a 7-point ball game. Chapman finds Haynes, leads on from Ablett, well scored by McVeigh, mopping up as Bullen, not much to give to it. Also go backwards to Solomon, who kicks to Lovett Murray. They pass the halfway mark of the second term. Lovett Murray drills it long. McPhee against Corey. Corey wins out. But a sloppy kicking coming in at the moment. Ablett did well over Rook to Milburn. Here's a chance for Milburn. It's a hole. It's going Kelly's way.
kick to a dangerous spot, and good pace by Kelly, held in the end.
And Kelly converts. The second.
A couple of teenagers involved in that goal. Ablett, who under pressure on the wing was able to squeeze the handball out. And then we get that dangerous kick. And James Kelly is a star of the future. And there's Gary Ablett Jr. in front of McVeigh. Struggled early, did Ablett, but coming into the game in this second quarter, McVeigh done a fine job to this stage.
Both sides with 2 goals from free kicks. The count 11-6 Essendon's way, but 17 have been given well before half-time. The umpires exerting a firm hand.
The old school there, King to Riccardi.
5 of them climbing into that. Now Peveril, McPhee, and Lovett Murray. And has a man loose. Ramanauskas might kick another. Plenty of time to steady. And he'd be disappointed with that. Margin 2 goals.
Yes, that was a bad miss as Jason Johnson comes off, and Joe Mercedes has his first run of the night. Rook.
Got to be impressed with Hunt's kick-ins. Hard and low, left foot drop punts.
To Ling. To half forward. Bayfair's got to beat a couple. Can't. Mercedes.
Just came on, Joe.
To Welsh. We're going short to Lucas. Still deep inside defensive 50 of the Bombers. Lucas' kick is good. Finds Hill. Little kick to Mark Johnson, who backs himself. Exciting play. Inside 50 to Lloyd. Ball still alive. Lovett Murray swoops on it. Back inside 50. Lloyd. McPhee pushed out his opponent, Chapman. How long can these players keep playing at this pace? Well, this in the second half, I mean, you know Geelong have got the superior leg speed. I mean, surely in the last quarter this is going to be an advantage for the Cats if it's being played at this breakneck speed.
That's exactly right. And players from both sides just hitting in so hard. Tackles are up. Scarlett got completely lost on Lloyd in the last 30 seconds. Corey helped him out.
Chapman's been excellent and puts that in a perfect spot for Rook. McVeigh not happy. Playfair picking it up low down. The Essendon man perhaps feeling it scrubbed the turf. Now Riccardi. Cats by 2 goals, looking to extend it. Riccardi beat them off beautifully with a good old-fashioned dummy. And Kingsley, who started like a shot out of a gun, can line up for his fourth.
Christy Malthouse, what about the benches? Are they being rotated a lot?
Well, they have for Geelong. It's 17-7. So Geelong just trying to give as many players a rest as they can.
Youthful look about the bench just at the moment.
Yes, the Geelong bench. There's Tenace, Mackie, Ablett, and Maloney.
Kingsley for number 4. And he has just scraped the inside, or he's made it. It's a goal, and the Cats lead by 3 goals. Different angle. It was fading and fading. And there was a whisker in it.
Ramanauskas off, and Matthew Allen back into the ruck for the Bombers.
4 straight to Kent Kingsley. The Cats lead by 3 straight. Welsh under pressure. Did well in the end. Allen. No one for him to pick it up. In the end he couldn't. Kelly on hands and knees. Rifles it out to Riccardi. Here's a chance for Graham. Almost. Not quite. Wellman fans don't like it, but he just didn't quite hold on to it long enough. Rioli has been a good player for the Bombers. Drives it to half forward. Rook's been good also for the Cats. Chops it off.
Now Hunt can use that kicking ability again. And does to Mooney. Now Riccardi being used in an explosive burst here, and he's been good. Haynes dangerous. Can he finish this? Just miscued the kick. Umpire says play on. Johnston to Wellman. Now to Allen. Essendon being pressured here. They don't want to give back another one. They're 3 goals down. Raciti with the sit, but just didn't back his spring. Enright stripped of it. Raciti now. And McVeigh. Great rebound football all night. And David Hill, there is a long kick of the ball, can line them up.
That's the advantage of Allen into the ruck, means that Hill can go forward. They've got 3 tall forwards in Lucas Lloyd and David Hill, who's a more than competent tall forward and usually a pretty reliable shot for goal. And plenty of handball there by the Bombers in this, well, first and second quarters. A lot of those handballs have been bullet-like short ones too, which have really been hard to control.
How will it come off the boot? You never quite know. That is just about perfect. The margin back to 12 points.
Never in doubt that one, wasn't it? It was a superb kick.
From McVeigh, good. It actually sent Hill back closer to goal and put him within range.
Yes, and there you can see that the change has been made. Fletcher now playing on Mooney, Wellman on Kent Kingsley.
On the tap, but it went straight to Milburn, who gives it to Kelly to the 50. Graham wrestles his way to the front. Well played, Wellman. Just got a fist on the ball at the right moment. Fed it out to Raciti. To Hill. He marks in front of Harley. Squares it up to Rioli. True centre half forward position. He's off. Little kick to Lucas. Favourable bounce. He's on his wrong side. To Lovett Murray. Across the face. There's a chance. 2 Bombers fly. And in the end, he rushes it through.
Kicking a little premature. It'll have to come back.
Barely missed all night. Josh Hunt kicking in. So there he goes now. We've put some pressure on him. But Kevin Sheedy certainly rearranged his defence. Wellman has gone on to Graham. Bolton onto Kent Kingsley. And Fletcher onto Mooney.
Another lovely kick. Murphy coming with the flight. Corey taking a good mark. Now Milburn. Margin back to 11 points. It might have been 4 goals 3 or so minutes ago. Corey again. Playfair now. They start to go for him. Mooney comes down the ground. That's where he heads. Should have snared that. Rioli.
And he gave Rioli one after he kicked it.
So an Essendon free kick forward of the centre.
Control yourself. Control yourself, Cam Mooney. You've done it pretty well this year.
Give anything back now. They've done the hard work in this first half. Lloyd taken under it by Scarlett. Lovett Murray, beautiful move up. Saw something none of us saw then though. And Jared Rook seized upon it. Cats away.
Oh, Mooney's going to beat 3 here. McPhee was spectacular over the top. Umpire didn't pay it, but advantage free kick anyway. Rioli puts Essendon back inside 50. Hill against Harley. He got rid of Harley. He sockers off the ground. Lovett Murray. In between the goal and the point post. That is the angle that confronts him.
2 metres. Give me 2 metres. Give me 2 metres. Give me 2 metres. Keep going another metre. Thank you.
So Nathan Lovett-Murray has kicked one. That's the angle.
Okay. Stay there, guys. Stay there. Wait for the call. Wait for the call. Wait for the call. Play on, please.
And that's just the point. So the Cats lead by 10.
There's Dean Rioli in picture, had a terrific second quarter, 9 disposals, a lot of those coming from in-close work at the centre bounces.
2-7 this quarter for the Bombers.
Yeah, Matty, that's it.
Little soft out there. Play for fair coming to grief in it for a moment. Now Milburn. King. Sparingly used so far.
Matty Scarlett is in front of King. He's heading towards the half-forward line, which forces Lloyd to go down there. See Lloyd in picture.
One more.
Confident control of the ball here by Geelong. Kingsley and Mooney. Oh, hit him in the head.
Settle down.
Still a chance for the Cats in the last 40 seconds to add to their 10-point lead.
Did too, right in the side of the head. So a chance here for Geelong. Throw in. King against Allen. McPhee's in there. Allen on hands and knees. Can't get it out. And we'll have another bounce here.
There's Matty Lloyd in the defensive 50 for the Bombers. And Matthew Scarlett will just run him up and down the ground all night.
McPhee knocks it forward to Wellman. Tackled by Graham. Ling. Here's a chance now for Geelong as we near half-time. Mooney wrestles with Fletcher, who soccers off the ground. Milburn. Murphy attacks it. Ricochets back to Murphy. Handball misses the target, but Peverill is there, and he'll make sure the Cats don't score. Exciting first half at the Telstra though in this round 9 clash. And Geelong leads Essendon by 10 points.
Well, as you said, Stephen, it was a 2-goal 7-quarter to the Bombers. They had plenty of it, just couldn't put it through the big sticks. But you've got to admire this Geelong side. They've come to play, they've come to win. They are giving it everything. That effort of Wojcinski's was magnificent.
Eagles have wings, but this Sunday against the Saints, they may need a prayer. Can the West Australians cause an upset? St Kilda versus the Eagles, Sunday on Fox Footy Channel.
Premium light. Some drink it because they're responsible.
What?
Others just love the taste.
Uncle Mick, is $19,990 a good price for a Toyota Corolla?
Well, love, it all depends on how many Ks it's done and what year.
Oh, it's brand new.
Brand new? A Toyota Corolla? Manual from 19,990 with air. How do they do it for the dough?
It's Toyota's biggest event of the year with top-selling Corolla Ascent, still just $19,990. That's class-leading value.
These blokes really do mean business.
That's me and my new notebook computer. I have to have one. I flexi-rented it so I could get the model I really needed, and I can update it when the next big thing comes along. Flexi-rent, I think it's fantastic.
Flexi-rent your complete technology solution with a total price of $19.95 or more, and receive a bonus Kodak EasyShare digital camera and printer dock priced at $398. Now that's a Flexi-rent bonus to smile about. More and more people are Flexi-renting. With technology moving so fast, it makes sense. Ask anyone at your nearest Harvey Norman computer store.
Join us on Wednesday for a Carlton great, the Dominator, Wayne Johnson. Plus a man, of course, who is a legend in AFL football. He not only did that, but he brought Qantas to their knees.
Grumpy Old Men, Wednesday nights on Fox Footy Channel.
Well, they're expecting expecting over 50,000 people here tonight, and it seems like it's pretty close to that right now, and everyone is on the edge of their seats. It has been a fantastic first half, and it promises to be an arm wrestle in the second half. Now, Geelong took a long time coming off the ground at half-time. They got away to a flying start, led Essendon back into the game, and the leadership group, led by Stephen King, all gathered together and stood on the ground for a couple of minutes discussing what had to be done in the second half before they went into the rooms to meet their coach, and then they'll back out on the ground early and very fired up, so you can expect a big second half from them.
Thanks, Christy. Cats start the third term, 10 points in front. Allen did it nicely. Peverill knocks it further forward to Jason Johnson. Johnson gives it to Lovett Murray, who runs to the 50, and that is a perfect start for the Bombers. Well, the Cats might have been fired up, but the Bombers have drawn first blood in the third term. Great teamwork, great running goal. It's a 4-point ball game.
Have a look at the work of Matthew Allen. Catches the ball in the ruck, gets the handball out to Peverill. Knows that he'll get tackled if he grabs it, so knocks it to Johnson, in turn to Lovett Murray. And that's one of the quickest goals you will ever see from a centre bounce. Just super ruck work, and that's the problem for Mark Thompson, is that Mooney can't ruck at the centre bounces. Down the Bombers forward line, David Hill, his opponent is Henry Playfair. Playfair not used to playing as a defender.
And Stephen King's up in the forward pocket for Geelong, so all their tools are out there at the moment.
There's King in the goal square. Dustin Fletcher, his opponent.
And the Bombers are within 4 points. Haynes to give Geelong their first crack at it in the second half, but there's nothing on the end of that.
Mark Bolton. Gee, he read that perfectly, Mark Bolton. He bolted 50 metres from full back to take that mark. He's playing on Kent Kingsley at the moment.
Peverill with Welsh wide for him, and they keep it wide. The throw in. Interesting to note that the Bombers had 162 uses of the ball in the first half. Last week at Amy Stadium, just 250 for the night. So the long authoritative game was just not part of their approach in the first half tonight.
Back of the Packers, Harley. Good hip and shoulder by Rioli. Fed it to Ramanauskas, who sweeps it wide to Lovett Murray, who sped it before he had it. He was off, but he forgot to take the Sharon with him.
Well, he did, and he's probably thinking, gee, I can get another one here. And Jason Johnson quick to dive on it. He was looking at the Geelong player coming his way. That was his problem. Eyes left the footy, and he thought, who's this in the hoops coming at me?
Solomon somehow got boots a ball. Little toe poke to half back. Haynes wins out. Handballs to Riccardi. So Peter Riccardi, can he use the footy? Into the pocket. Kingsley from the side. Well done, Bolton.
Bolton playing Kent Kingsley from 10-15 metres in front, and
Chapman and McPhee.
Yes, well, Chapman is an angry ant.
Well, McPhee didn't like the tackle from Chapman on Bolton, and then
let's have a look.
Two came together.
Well, Chapman just gives him one to the neck, doesn't he? And McPhee goes in to stand up for his mate, as he should.
Riccardi. He's in there, and we'll have a bounce. 40 out from Geelong's goal.
Chapman, according to the rankings, was way ahead of the rest of the field at half-time. 102 rankings points to 76, the next best. Dean Solomon, a mile in front. Rioli knocking it clear, but Corey swooping and might be able to finish. Not quite the way he hoped. Geelong by 5.
Golden opportunity to kick a goal. You might say, well, he was on the boundary line, tough shot, but he had enough time to settle himself and make sure of that.
Cats by 5 points. Fletcher prepares to bring it in.
Lucas has led from centre half forward.
Kicks to McPhee. Now he's got Jason Johnson on at half forward if he can pop it over the top. Ran out of time. So McPhee on centre wing.
Clear, guys, to the clear.
Got Lloyd lurking. Hill lurking. Deep in attack. He pumps it long. Chooses Lloyd against Scarlett. Mark Johnson's kick too. He's a human battering ram. So does that man Solomon. Lost it. Scarlett comes up with a football. Fed out the handball to Mooney. Out wide to Playfair and the Cats out of danger. Graham. Just kicks as he's run down, and it's a good one too as he finds Ablett. Now Ablett's got Kingsley on the lead. And Kent Kingsley will go back 45 metres out for goal number 5. He's kicked 4 straight this evening.
Matthew Lloyd, a bit of a nudge and a bump. Look at the strength of him. Puts Scarlett under the ball. Scarlett just able to get a fingernail on it.
Kingsley's got 5. And he's averaging in his last 4 games against Essendon 4 goals a game. They love playing against the Bombers.
Well, he's got away there on the lead. You can see that Fletcher's on him in that situation, but Bolton has been his opponent. And 5 goals straight to Kent Kingsley, so he's got the kicking boot on.
It's the effort of an old-fashioned full forward. 7 kicks, 5 goals. That's a job well done. Geelong again a kick and a half in front. They have not surrendered the lead all night. Corey gives Kingsley another shot at it. For his 8th kick perhaps. Perhaps his 6th goal. No, not this time. Now can King do it at ground level? Fletcher's got his measure. And he has support in Peverill. And the Bombers are away. Welsh close to the line and under pressure from Kelly. Mark Johnson kept it in. No, he didn't. The boundary umpire from a long way back had a good line on it. And I reckon he might have got that about right.
Yes. So throw in smack bang on the wing. Allen against Mooney. Allen got the tap. Ramanascus Sockers. Hill against Riccardi. Hunt's in there. Solomon got caught high.
Solly!
Yep. So True Grit wins out as he looks for Lloyd, but chopping it off is Mooney. Might have been off there. Benefit of the doubt.
The key is whether the umpire has called it. And fortunately for Mooney, he had Hunt to Ling, who's had the better of that midfield battle. McPhee.
Gee, you've got to love the way this bloke plays. Just eyes only for the football and goes for everything in the air.
And he's not bad on the ground, and he's quick. Now McVeigh, as the Bombers load up again. Peverill, who can kick long with his left foot. Will need to kick this more than 50. The Cats by 11 points. Hill, yes, good strong hands.
And Playfair will struggle. Playfair will struggle in that position. Good short pass, good lead, good mark.
A bit too easy, wasn't it?
Was a bit too easy. You can just see he got the lead, big body, arms outstretched. Henry Playfair just can't get there.
He's kicked 1 good goal tonight from long range in the second quarter. The angle, the tester here, as he lines up for his 10th goal of the year. Has been a handy source of goals for the Dons. He's 1-1 for the night, and the margin is 10 points.
Dustin Fletcher
has been moved back onto Ken Kingsley. Kingsley was too good for Bolton, just beat him on the lead every time.
Rob, would you entertain the idea of having Graham go onto Hill and perhaps play up forward in Graham's spot?
Yes, because Graham hasn't done enough up forward. Has looked dangerous but hasn't delivered.
Haynes marks at half back.
The other thing you've got to question is how long will Mark Thompson keep the captain, Stephen King, in the goal square? We know he can't ruck for lengthy periods, but it's just about time to get him in the midfield.
Speaking of midfield, Riccardi surges through it. Not a bad effort out in front of Kingsley, who runs onto it. Needs support. Chapman's up ahead. Click high.
It's an interesting one.
He was caught high though, wasn't he?
He was caught high, but he does duck the head often. He's been rewarded with a free kick. And you can see he just...
You've got to pay that, Dave.
Doubles up, and the Rioli tackle gets him across the neck. Yeah, you've got to play it.
14-7, the free kicks in favour of Essendon. So Chapman will line up.
It's a difficult rule, isn't it? And always a difficult interpretation for the umpires. The rule says that if the player with the ball contributes to the high tackle, that he doesn't deserve the free kick.
All AFL coaches will be telling their players, with Paul Chapman, hit him hard and low.
Well, they got that one right, the umps. Can Chapman convert? He's got 3. That's the way it stays. 3 goals, 2 to Paul Chapman. As Premier Brax, Rob Hulls look on amongst others.
And this is Brax has had a good day already. The Demons got up at the MCG.
They've got a covered actually. The Cats, they've got the Premier and the opposition leader both barracking for Geelong. Should have hit him for a bigger grandstand.
Murphy with the sit here and a good mark. Movement of the ball tonight has been thrillingly quick. Allen to Mark Johnson, who has kicked a couple, and he's kicked 3. Wonderful goal. It's back to 5 points again. He's been an unlikely source for Essendon.
David Wojcinski in that marking contest, he's the fella who went to ground when he hurt his head in that first quarter. He's just come on, obviously not feeling 100%. There's Murphy marking over David Wojcinski. He's really hurting Wojcinski. He was hurt early in that first quarter when he landed on his head.
Well, the male in the media room at half-time, Rob, is he's nursing pretty sore ribs. So that could be, well, truly hampering him. He looked at a grimace as he landed heavily there, so obviously not 100%. Cats by 5. Ramanowski's handball was a straight. Walsh to Wellman. Inside 50 yards, a good kick to Lloyd. Got both hands on it, but spilt the beans. Might get a second chance.
It's against Scarlett. It's against Scarlett for holding on in the tackle. Umpire Hayden Kennedy saying you held on too long, unnecessarily threw him to ground. And we'll get a good look at it. He misses the mark, recovers to get his hands on the footy. And the Scarlett tackle just goes on too long. Got rid of it, throws him to ground, and that's the reason why the umpires paid the free. Controversial.
Very controversial.
I don't think Scarlett was contesting it too hard.
He just walked away in disgust.
Essendon have now kicked 3 goals, 7 from set shots.
And they've kicked 4 goals, 9 since quarter time.
And David Wojcinski has just been benched, and I don't think we'll see him out there again tonight.
Henry Playfair decides to have a romp in the park. Not to very great effect. Hill, the danger man here for Geelong. but it's all the Cats at ground level. Hill's made them fight for it. Lean to Corey. Great effort by Solomon. Cats come out of it with a free kick. They had to work for it. Well played both teams.
Great effort, Solomon. In the end, he gave away the free kick, but gee, what a game.
Scarlett to Riccardi up the middle. Taken by Hayes, who wastes no time. The lead's on by Kingsley.
And Bolton can't play on him. Bolton's playing 15 metres in front of Ken Kingsley. I think you've got to get Fletcher back onto him because Bolton's got no idea how to play on a leading forward.
Well, this is going to test him. We'll be kicking from about 55. We just saw him with his eyes signal to teammates to perhaps run into space. Doesn't like his chances from here. He's got 5 straight.
Geelong 8 goals 3 from set shots. Essendon 3 goals 7.
So Kingsley forced to kick for goal. It's a good effort. Oh, here we go.
Cross the line. Cross the line.
It's a cross the line. Oh, Kingsley's got 6, and the Bombers don't like it. Well, the umpire was in perfect position, and he said it was over the line. You heard the conversation. Well, I'll tell you what, I reckon he was right.
Hard to tell, but Tim, you're the stats man. What's the most number of goals Ken Kingsley has kicked in a game?
That's a good question.
We'll find out.
The answer shortly.
We'll find out because he regularly kicks his 2 or 3. Occasionally through the season he'll get a 5. I don't know that he's ever kicked 6 or more in an AFL match.
The goal umpire was in perfect position. Could not have set himself up better for that. Pinned on the goal post, looking along the line. The Cats again lead by 10 points. King in the ruck now, but the extra tall up forward has been a key for Geelong so far in the corner. Chapman this time gives away the free kick for the high tackle.
Hey, Chappie! Just easy.
He's driving Mark Johnson mad.
Stupid. It is stupid football. They sucked him in.
I'll give it. I'll put it down.
I think he turned the microphone off just in time.
Well, disappointing play by Paul Chapman. He's got to cool it. Ball ends up in the hands of this fella. As well as he's played Chapman, he can't allow himself to get personal revenge when it costs the team.
Lloyd with the shot, still has just 1. There's a hook on that, and he has 1 goal 4. And Matthew Scarlett has a happy knack, even when he's being beaten, of somehow limiting the number of goals that his opponent is able to kick.
He had 30 goals 11 before tonight, Lloyd. This is very uncharacteristic.
It's another Hunt kick that hits the spot.
So Ling back to Hunt. Hayes against McPhee, that's definite free kick.
The thing I like about Hayes, former West Coast Eagle player, he always presents in front position.
Getting pretty narky out there. A brief exchange, there's another blow off the ball.
It'll go to Essendon.
Reversing, something happened down there. Something happened down there. It's his kick. That's back.
So it's simmering and it's threatening to break out here in a full-scale war. Jason Johnson moonwalks. Now puts it inside 50. Mooney!
Prescient piece of commentary.
The best and worst of Cam Mooney. We've just seen it.
Rioli. It's a good centering ball. Hill, Lloyd and Scarlett, and it's against Lloyd.
And that should be 50-metre penalty.
Got to be, surely.
That should be a 50-metre penalty. And Hayden Kennedy won't play it, and he should have.
If we knew from here the free kick had been paid, Lloyd had to know.
There's a great roar here at the Dome.
And the Cats cling to tenaciously to their advantage. Harley. No fancy Dan stuff from him. Corey with eyes in the back of his head. Just trod water nicely. Milburn now. An open forward set up for Geelong. Here's Kelly.
And Fletcher back on Kent Kingsley.
Graham the target. Bolton the spoil. Kelly trying to run onto the spoil off his own kick. Jason Johnson now. Solomon to Wellman. But it's all Geelong out here in midfield. He's been decked out. It'll be a relay free kick.
It's stupid. There's three cats all by themselves out on the wing too.
Darren Milburn being spoken to by the umpire.
That's the Cam Mooney mark.
So back live, another costly free kick from the Cats, but can the Bombers make them pay? Cupido might! That will make Mark Thompson savage.
It will make Mark Thompson savage because some of his players, look, they're playing in a huge game for the Geelong Football Club. It's a sellout, big crowd, and some of the Geelong players are just losing it under the intense heat of battle here, and they just can't afford to give away goals to a team like the Bombers.
Damien Cupido hasn't had a lot of game time, but he produced the result.
It's on down the other end. And McPhee pushing into Haynes started it.
There's something the Cats in here, the Bombers.
Still the Cats lead by 3 points. Great tackle, Lucas on Harley. Mark Johnson able to capitalise. Don's a chance here. Hill in the midst of it. Hunt tackled high by Murphy. Clearly there. Now Riccardi as Geelong must settle themselves. Ablett being played close and being comprehensively beaten by Mark McVeigh.
Short to Jason Johnson.
Bolton has bolted from the half-back line to half-forward, forcing Kent Kingsley to go with him.
Fletcher from the side. Graham.
Adam McPhee's wearing one.
Yep.
As you can see, that happened about 30 seconds ago.
I think I might have known the culprit too. Wonder who that might have been.
Well, if the umpire spotted, he might have to go off with the blood rule.
Great smother. But Enright gets a second crack at it. Now Milburn, the run is provided by Scarlett. Here's a chance, McPhee's backed himself. Scarlett won out beautifully. Great football. Here's a chance for Haynes. He runs to 50 and misses. Oh, jeez. McPhee backed himself.
He did. He backed himself. Nothing wrong with that as long as you get the footy. You look at the eye. That's really starting to swell up. And that's the smother. Lackadaisical kick from Enright. Desperate smother by the Bombers. And that's the first time Fletcher's put one down the middle tonight. Maybe the Geelong zone defence slackening off.
The margin 4 points. McVeigh turns it over. Hunt. Pressure on Kelly here. Had to try and get over Allen. And gets him high. Bombers ball. Welsh allowed to run away with it. Solomon now. Essendon looking for that goal to put them in front for the first time. Murphy playing on, putting himself under pressure, but it doesn't matter. They're in front. First time they have led all night. Late in the third quarter, Perfectly weighted kick. And Justin Murphy finished it beautifully. The weight on the kick from Solomon was exquisite, just clearing Corey's fingertips. And Justin Murphy really knows how to kick a goal.
And Justin Murphy knows how to find space. Number one marking player in the Essendon team, believe it or not.
And there's no doubt the last 10 minutes the Bombers have sucked the Cats in. They've physically intimidated them. The Cats have responded. And it's cost them the lead at the moment.
Well, Kevin Sheedy has constantly, and there's Chapman, looks like he's caught one on the beak. That slowed him up for a little while, but Kevin Sheedy constantly has changed his back line around because Kent Kingsley has caused all kinds of problems with his 6 goals. At the moment, Fletcher back onto Kingsley.
King on hands and knees. Ling quiet this turn. Tenace.
Desperate Essendon stuff there.
Mark Johnson's been fantastic.
Another smother by Mark Johnson.
So throw in 50 metres out from the Cats' goal. This is really going to test this young side now. Can they cut the mustard with the big boys? Riccardi, great pickup. To Corey from 50. Here's a chance for Graham. Underneath it's Fletcher. Well done, Dustin Fletcher. One-point ball game. Bombers in front.
Cats were overpowered in the last quarter of the Wizard Cup final here, of course, by St Kilda. Bullen now. Essendon on the breakaway. Mark Johnson again in the heart of it. Confident start. Good delivery. Scarlett right with Lloyd and beats him. What a magnificent contest it's been. Lloyd's had opportunities, but he's kicked 1 goal for. Milburn's kick is good for Haynes. And Mark Johnson does a good job of landing right on top of it.
Well, he made him earn it, didn't he? But Haynes is tough. He's a tough kid. Had a few seasons with the West Coast Eagles.
To Maloney, who hasn't had much game time. Graham sets himself. From the side was Wellman. He's got support. Wellman never panics. And his kick's good as he finds Jason Johnson. Boy, are we set for a great last quarter. Another Saturday night special. To the wing, Mark Johnson. Masiti to the 50. Murphy trying to nudge his opponent underneath the ball. Throw. Advantage the other way.
Dribble. Gee, I thought it had been called a throw. Corey takes the free kick and gives to Ling. Dying minutes of the term. Mooney, that's a good ball for Harley. Big night for Harley and Scarlett. Playing their hundredths. Their teammates would love to honour them with a win. It'll be a great win if they can achieve it. Kelly, Graham another chance. King climbing in, but Graham stood his ground in front.
That's what I get. And the James Kelly trick work on the boundary line has helped set this up. Now that is a terrific pack mark by Ben Graham. You've just got to kick it, Benny. And blood rule has come into effect. Have a look at Kelly here. Puts the ball to ground. Spins around Welsh. 1 step, bang. Puts it to the danger spot. Ben Graham in front. Works to the front. And a very good mark.
Bolton headed for the interchange as Graham takes his time about preparing for this shot. He's had a couple of set shots early. Adam Ramanowski letting him know that he's already missed a couple tonight. Christy, you've got some news down on the boundary.
Dean Solomon has just come off the ground and gone straight into the rooms. He was doubled over and looked winded and tried to stay up there.
Christy, so this is a certain goal. Sorry. As you were saying.
I was just saying Dean Solomon's gone into the Essendon rooms.
Do we know why the 50-metre penalty?
Someone ran across the mark.
Cats are back in front.
Yeah, could have been one of those old-fashioned Jimmy Stein's run-throughs. Sorry, Jimmy, to remind you that.
Well, let's have a look. Why he got the 50-metre penalty, we believe an Essendon player ran through the man on the mark. There's McVeigh. And you have made a big blunder. He knows it. You have made a big blunder. And I'll tell you what, Betty Graham is saying, thank goodness for that, because I reckon I'll kick this one.
So Benny Graham's got a bit of claret too coming from the nose. It has been a bloody quarter. Riccardi has done some really good work this turn in the midfield. Inside Geelong's attacking 50. Huge pack fly. Mackie looking for support. Masiti tackled by Mooney. Oh, it's tough on the clinches at the moment. Wellman again to the wing and finds McPhee. He's got a nice shiner on the left eye.
Just over a minute left in the turn. Scarlett leads Lloyd to this one and has support. Rook to King. It's not a chess match. This is football, folks. Riccardi now. And the Cats might be the team to mount the last charge of the turn.
And Riccardi with 8 disposals in the third quarter, really lifting his game, and they need it.
Mooney, a feisty contributor. And it's Mackie's ball for a push in the back. He might get 50. Riccardi's not careful. He doesn't want to do it again.
Some great jumper punches in that.
Just try it for a sec. You got the free, so just no, listen to me. You got the free. Listen to me. You got the free, just go back and take it, for God's sake. Over there.
You get a bit frustrated, Hayden Kennedy. 15 free kicks in this quarter. I saw a game today where there were 20 at the MCG total for the entire 4 quarters. 15 free kicks because tempers are pretty flared at the moment.
Allen to cover this for Essendon. That's dangerous. Fletcher always knows what to do with a leg or an arm in a situation like that. And he finds the sanctuary of the line. The clock stops though, and there is time enough for the Cats.
Joe Masidi has come onto the field. I think Kevin Sheedy should keep Masidi on for the entire last quarter because he's been used very sparingly.
Mark Johnson. Disposal number 17 to Cupido. To half forward, Mooney getting back there. The bounce is kind. And that's going to be 3/4 time. And what another fantastic quarter it was. Oh, it had everything.
It's not over yet.
Had everything. And the Cats lead the Bombers by 5 points.
Great quarter of football, and I'm sure that Mark Thompson cannot wait to get out there to his charges and say, fellas, you've just got to be controlled in these circumstances. Keep your eye on the football. Don't get sucked in whatever you do. You've done a terrific job to this stage. Use your pace and your run and your talents. Don't let the strength of the Essendon team intimidate you.
Saturday night football at the last change. The Cats lead the Bombers by less than a kick.
Today, live and exclusive across Australia, it's the Round 9 clash between the Dogs and the Blues. Fox Footy's Super Sunday commentary team will be at Optus Oval for all the action when Carlton battle the Western Bulldogs live and exclusive.
Stand by for another one.
Digital subscribers can also experience this game with full sports active technology.
You're watching this live around Australia on Fox Footy.
Carlton Western Bulldogs, today live and exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm more of a 110% man than anything else.
Last week, a big rap for a promising blue.
Carl Norman, the sky's the limit if his feet are on the ground.
Russell Robertson on that Sampy mark.
I'm too bulky, too big in the butt, mate, to jump that high.
And Tony Shaw on Collingwood's recruiting.
It's 8 years since I think the club has gone out and got a star across the line, a superstar.
Join me Monday night as Wayne Schwass and Collingwood's Josh Fraser stop by to take your calls live. Catch the fever. That's White Line Fever, 7:30 Eastern.
Welsh allowed to run away with it. Sullivan now. Essendon looking for that goal to put them in front for the first time. Murphy playing on, putting himself under pressure, but it doesn't matter. They're in front.
But it wasn't for long because the Cats have wrested back the lead at three-quarter time. 13-10 plays 12-11. This game has had everything. Kingsley 6 for the Cats. Mark Johnson's led the way for Essendon with 3 goals. And boy, plenty of heavy stuff in that third term. Fresh legs is going to be so important that has been played at a frenetic pace tonight. And Mercedes, you'd suspect, would be on for the whole last quarter, Rob.
Yes, I think so. And we can see Mercedes there going to the centre. Also, Matthew Allen to do the ruck work. Allen's had a fair bit of time on the bench, so you expect him to ruck out. It just means that Kevin Sheedy, if he wants to, can put Hill up forward, which he's decided to go with in this final quarter. The Cats, fresh legs. Well, Maloney certainly hasn't had a lot of game time. Tanase is the skinny young winger, and Mackey's another skinny boy. And that's the problem for Geelong, is that they've got some youngsters out there who haven't got big muscles, if you like. They might find it a bit hard in this last quarter, but they've been very brave, the Cats, and I'm sure that their coach has said, hey, you've been wonderful, but we cannot accept an honourable loss. We have to win this game.
Christy Malthouse.
Dean Solomon will start this term on the ground. He came off just before that break. He was doubled over, gasping for breath. The doctors took him off, took him down into the rooms, and then gave him some painkillers. So whatever's wrong with him, it won't keep him off for this term.
Great crowd tonight amongst the haze at Telstra Dome. 51,400. There's Big Cat Mooney. Made his presence felt in the third term. He's had a pretty good night. We start this last term, and that's a free kick.
So, let him up, Johnny. Let him up now.
Kevin Sheedy has got Lucas playing across half-back, so Lucas to the back line, Bolton to the forward line.
Enright or Riccardi had a wonderful third term. Short passes on. Ablett against McVeigh. Ablett. Clever handball. Graham. Left foot snap. It's home. Well, again, like the third term, it only took 30 seconds for the first goal. This time it went to the Cats.
A couple of veterans involved. Riccardi, have a look at Ablett. Nice touch. Able to get that handball out. Caught in between 2 Bombers. And Ben Graham, I think he's happier having a snapshot than he is a set shot. And there we see Scotty Lucas, who's been moved to the half-back line, immediately gets a goal kicked against him.
Gary Ablett had barely put an imprint on this match. Suddenly, with his 8th possession, he sets up Ben Graham second. The Cats lead by 11 points, but there's a long quarter in front of them. We're talking about this as a big test for Geelong, Rob.
Oh, it certainly is. There's Bolton. He's gone to centre-half forward. They've won 4 of 5. If they can get 5 out of 6 with a victory over Essendon, you've got to say, hey, they're going places.
Now it's a free kick Essendon's way.
Let him go.
Ablett was on the burst. A shepherding offence. And it's the Dons' ball. Costly mistake. Ablett suddenly looks full of danger. It was Haynes just getting into the back of McVeigh.
Soft.
It was.
Soft.
I'm going to say it's also a test for Essendon. They've had 6 straight wins. They have been against 6 of the bottom 7 teams on the table. They haven't beaten anybody yet. Poor kick, Mercedes, straight to Riccardi. And he has Chapman finding space. The Cats kick the next. The contract becomes tough for Essendon. There's an open 50 for Mackey to try and work in, but McPhee's too strong, too experienced, too good. Masiti again. This is a better delivery. Allen. who used to love finding space on the wings of Optus Oval. He's a good kick of the ball. He sets it up, but Lloyd has the field against him. And Playfair, who again is back on Big Hill, takes a comfortable mark.
So Geelong by 11 points. Cats have won 3 in a row. The Bombers 6 in a row. Milburn.
This is one of the worst aspects of our game, that a player can take so long before he kicks the footy.
Kicks it to Graham. Just got nudged under the ball by Lucas cleverly. Jason Johnson caught high. Advantage paid. Masiti to Murphy. Right in the middle of the ground. Loads up. It's a kick to Lloyd. In fact, it's Hill. And Moody's more than capable as he finds Ling. And his kick is marked by Joel Corey.
The hand pass just lacked a bit of penetration, but Corey's able to get it back. Now Milburn. Can someone snare it? Can someone crumb it? Someone can nearly do both, but in fact they do neither. And Graham is well tied up by Scott Lucas.
One more bite of the cherry would have been enough.
He was a bit lost, Scotty Lucas. Eyes were off the ball. And Kent Kingsley almost wrapped it up.
A low rumble from Geelong fans. They reckon they were stiff, but they know the umpire was right, deep in their hearts. McPhee, Blazers, to nobody. Corey trying to find Mooney with that. Rather Playfair. And now Playfair wins it. For Ling. He can load up from 50. Is that inside or out? Out. Cats doing the attacking. Leading by 11 points. 12 points now.
Scott Lucas has the football. Jason Johnson. Tackled by Haynes and Corey. Wellman comes into the picture. A bounce. For Geelong, Ling's got 20 and Mooney 17 disposals, while for the Bombers 19 to Solomon and 17 each to Mark Johnson and McPhee.
Wojcinski lying on the ground there. He won't come back on. Stephen King on the interchange for Geelong.
Mark Johnson straight to Riccardi, and he knew it as soon as he kicked it. Peter Riccardi doesn't often waste it. He's found Graham now. He's 60 out. Oh, he's got a short on. It's Riccardi. He's kept running. So Peter Riccardi, who has been fantastic since half-time, will have a shot at goal. He's going to pass it off. Oh, what a pass! He is throughout the eye of the needle. And Haynes will line up from point-blank range. It was a great pass, but it was executed perfectly.
And you just wonder why, and yet he was determined to pass it off. You just wonder why Riccardi, and we see him take the ball on the wing. He gets the ball to Ben Graham and then follows on to receive. But that is a wonderful pass, but he was only about 45 metres out.
So David Haynes, for his first goal for the night, his 50th in his career. Cats by 3 goals.
Did I see a touch of surprise in their eyes? I would have thought he might have pulled out the old Carlton kick in that range at this ground.
It was about that spot too, wasn't it?
Identical, except about another 5 metres further out.
Cameron Ling starting on the wing, leading possession getter on the ground.
Geelong by 3 goals. Tough for Essendon now, and here go the Cats again. Their belief is growing. Riccardi for Chapman, used the hip neatly. Haynes gives it back to him. Chapman might finish him here. Took his time, did it beautifully for Ling.
Chased his mind, Tim. He was going to have a
shot, and at the last moment he put it on the outside of the boot, check-sided the kick, and got what he wanted. And you can see his teammates, they are absolutely delighted with that effort. Solomon forced to play in defence. He's going to have a shot, changes his mind.
That was an amazing kick.
Super kick.
Now Cameron Ling is lining them up, courtesy of that freakish effort.
He's got some tricks, hasn't he, Paul Chapman?
This for a 4-goal lead. Oh dear, he's done it. He has done it. He did it the hard way.
I think it's going to be very hard for Essendon to come back now. You can look at this a dozen times, it's so good. Changes his mind, puts it on the side of the boot. Sees Ling, look at the eyes of Chapman, sees Ling and angles it onto his chest.
Cats by 4 goals. Bombers have got to get the next one.
And Kevin Sheedy, he's made some he made changes at three-quarter time. Lucas to the back line, Bolton up forward. He's switched that around after the Cats have kicked those quick goals.
Riccardi again. Maloney to the 50. Chapman caught high. No, says the umpire. Pepperell. Long kick, it's a good one too. Jason Johnson's camped underneath it.
But he's got Lucas in the forward 50. And Matty Lloyd on a lead, goes to Lucas.
Couldn't take the mark. Harley was the spoiler. And he's been pinned. But camping over the footy. Hunt to Mooney. Into the middle for Mackie. Push. Advantage paid. Here come the Cats again. Into the pocket. Kingsley. Fletcher kept his feet. Looking for Allen. And they'll have a throw in.
You know, Tim, your point is quite valid. Essendon have won their last 6 games, but the teams that they've beaten are all sitting in the bottom 7 positions on the ladder. So they haven't beaten anything of real quality.
They officially haven't beaten a top 8 opponent this year.
Geelong, meanwhile, weathered the storm against second-place Melbourne last week, and they might do it tonight against the 4th-place Bombers. Here they go again. The numbers are against Ling. Spectacular effort from Murphy, but no cigar, and a ball up. The Bombers goalless in 8 minutes of clock time in this final quarter. Dyson about to come on. Kevin Sheedy rolling the dice. Pepperell now. Milburn in the way. Jason Johnson, nowhere to go. And this time it's a ball up.
And there's Andrew Welsh being moved on the dangerous Chapman. He cleaned up Ramanaskas early in the game, and I reckon Welsh would have been the one to go with from the start.
Well done by Enright to create a contest. Well, that 1%er counts for a lot. Kelly to the wing, marked by Wellman.
Essendon can't afford to play chip football. They have to move the ball on quickly because, they've got to get 5 goals. So they just cannot take their time. They've got to take some risks. And this sort of stuff, I don't think it helps.
Marked by Welsh. To Solomon. 50. So Dean Solomon comes into the middle. Essendon trail by 4 straight kicks, nearing the halfway mark of this final term. to Rioli.
Got to move it on.
Now he does. Allen's there. Allen almost. Hunt's dispossessed. Mark Johnson's kicked 3 miraculous snaps. That wasn't a bad effort either.
Just ran out of miracles. And the Bombers are running out of time to overcome a 23-point deficit. Lovely kick again. Clears 50 and hits Corey between the eyes. Now Chapman. Geelong's ball usage has been exemplary. King coming back for Playfair, just beside where Chapman was taking that kick.
There's Riccardi, who was really impressive early, and they're going to get him on very quickly. Tenace coming off.
Kelly. Now Maloney. And he's set that up nicely for Haynes. Solomon, good fist on it. But it's Geelong pressing, and if they kick the next, the Bombers can just about kiss this goodbye.
Ken Kingsley in picture. We've got the answer. How many goals has been his best haul? Well, he kicked 6 against the Bombers back in round 16, 2002. He's got 6 against them again tonight.
Easy. That's all right, Matty. Easy, guys. Well done. Hey, Sean. Hey, Sean, now, mate. Thanks. What's the footy? What's the footy?
So 35 out from Geelong's goal. King slaps it forward. Chapman.
Goal umpire hasn't got much idea.
Out on the full. Out on the full.
The full? Yeah, give it the lesson. Right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that the goal umpire said give it the lesser. So a behind or out of bounds. Let's give it the lesser.
It is the instruction that they're given. The only problem is it could determine the outcome of a match one day. Maloney turning into trouble there. Jason Johnson. And McPhee was pushed out. The Dons still goalless in this last quarter. In fact, they've kicked just one behind. Lloyd trying to get in front of Scarlett. Lovett Murray not really able to make much in the way of contact. Hunt's kick for once missing the target. Solomon turning it over to Enright. Old legs carrying Peter Riccardi into second place against Pembroke, but the ball wins anyway.
And the captain, Stephen King, doing the ruck work in the last 8 minutes of the game, and I think that's so important.
Hill got the football though, kicks it to the 50. Rook gets there first for the Cats. Enright to Hunt. Boy, he's a strong young lad. Played a good game too. Mark Johnson caught high. It's a free kick. This is disposal number 21 coming up to Mark Johnson.
Ball not returned to him, which caused a rumble from Essendon supporters, but I don't know whether the umpire noticed where it had come from.
Free kicks, Essendon 24, Geelong 18. Johnson just kicks the big torpy and hopes for the best. McPhee in front. Jason Johnson. Essendon still alive. Well, that is the one they so desperately needed, and they've still got to snip the Bombers. There's still plenty of time left, and it's a 17-point margin.
He takes a gamble here with the big torpedo, gets maximum distance. There's a pack of about 5 who fly, and in the right spot, and he knows that that ball is most likely going to go to the front with the Geelong fist on it. Smart play.
Good again, guys. Go to full.
See how Stephen King goes at a centre bounce.
The Dons need 3 more. They've got to do a lot right. Mark Johnson, robust, courageous, and winning a free kick.
Well, the two Johnsons have been fantastic for the Bombers.
He used the torp a moment ago to set it up.
Go for another one.
While you're hot, son. Tries the hand pass. Bolton. Lucas trying to get into it. Gets some pushing at the back. Gives away a free. Harley's ball. And he's contained Lucas well. Taken the honours in that important contest. Now Kelly. Cats still in control in the last 7 minutes.
It's a good kick.
Joel Corey takes the mark. Bit too early to be playing the keepings off game, so still plenty of time for the Bombers. 6.5 left on the clock. Chapman. Good hard running from Corey. It gives them an option. So they're slowly working it forward. Corey short into the pocket. Graham. Well, that was well worked by the Cats. They're in no hurry. Milk some time off the clock. And now Ben Graham. And this little play is taken about a minute off the clock.
It has, and you just wonder whether the Geelong coaches sent the message out just to keep possession of the ball. Look, even if he kicks it behind, if he kicks a goal, well, the game's Geelong's. If he kicks it behind, it'll be very hard for Essendon because they'll have to kick at least 3 goals and a little bit more to win.
The angle's tight. And Ben Graham's haul tonight has been 2 goals, 3.
18 points in front.
Handy point.
Yeah, it's a handy point. Bombers have got numbers all down the middle. You can see all the Essendon players down the middle. They're starting to fan out a little now.
We've got to score 4 times to snatch it back. Fletcher, aware of it, goes down the middle, and McPhee does the rest.
Yeah, they did that well.
Dyson, good kick. Ramanauskas and Rook. He tripped himself up there. Solomon arrives to help. Could send Ramanauskas or Jason Johnson up. Johnson kicked the last. He misses this. Costly miss. A goal there, and they were in it. Still, it's one of the 4 scores they need.
So Josh Hunt has been very impressive with the kick-ins tonight. Five minutes to go. And that'll suit the Cats. So throw in half-forward flank, Bombers into attack.
And you can see Cam Mooney, he's just dying to get back onto the ground. He's looking around, he's talking to the trainers, he's letting everyone know, I want to get back out there, I want to help out.
It's been 3 goals to 1 the Cats' way in this last quarter. Milburn, an old pro. Corey keeping it in. Now Maloney. Fletcher out wrestling Kingsley on that occasion. Wellman getting himself into the jaws of death here.
He's run a full measure.
And Mark Johnson again.
To Bolton at half-back. Now McVeigh. Good kick to Peverill. So the Bombers making their move. They need 3 goals to pinch it. Still time. So Peverill bombs it long. Bolton in front was King, who did it really well.
He was good, Stephen King. Just the bulk of him stood out.
Now here we go. Ling spots up Corey. And he's got plenty of room to move. Kicks it to the lead of Haynes. In fact, it's Kelly, my apologies. Kelly twisting and turning on the right into the pocket. Kingsley plays on and goes himself. And Kingsley's got 7, and that is the match winner. from Kent Kingsley. 7 goals straight.
Gee, it's a good hook kick by Kelly.
Seven straight from 10 kicks. A good night's work for a full forward. And there's not much the old Fox can do about it now. The Cats have this one under control, leading by 23 points. Pepperell to Jason Johnson. Lloyd on the lead. Scarlett somehow got a hand in there. But Lloyd comes back and kicks his second of the night. But it's still 17 points to difference.
Just the recovery of Matthew Lloyd was brilliant. He hit that marking contest full pace, went to ground, and then was able to get himself up for a second crack at it. Have a look at him here. Hits the deck, up on his feet, alert. And he's just, look, he's had a tough night. He's had a tough night because Matthew Scarlett's been a terrific player against him, but hasn't given up at any stage.
Cats by 17. Deep into the last turn. Geelong go into attack. Haynes overran it. Solomon. Pepperell slides in.
Easy.
So the Cats climb up the ladder is going to continue. They're in 8th spot at the moment. And they're going to have a 5-4 record in 2004. Bombers' first loss in 7 weeks. Jason Johnson to the wing. Jared Rook certainly played his role this evening.
Play fair. There's some difficult moments down the back during the third quarter. Up the ground now. Goes for Graham. Bolton finds the line. Geelong perhaps coming of age tonight.
It's a big win, Tim. Big win. And there's Matthew Lloyd in his last 3 games against Matthew Scarlett. He's kicked 5 goals.
Jason Johnson again, but Ling in the way.
Number 23 disposal coming up.
That's it.
Touch ball, says umpire Derek Woodcock. So why wasn't the play on? That's what.
Because I paid the mark. Okay, no. Because I paid the mark, I've got to bounce it here because I didn't hear the touch call. I didn't hear the touch call. Okay, I paid the mark.
Well, that's an awful mix-up. That was Geelong's ball, and they've had it taken off them for no reason other than that the umpire made a bad mistake. Riccardi. All's well that ends well.
What about the tap from Stephen King?
Well, All-Australian ruckman. And what about the break into space? Let's have a look at this. There's the ruckman. Bang. Riccardi, thank you very much. I'm off. I reckon I would have done that a few times over the years, but probably no time more sweeter than that one.
Bit of icing on the Cats' cake. And here they come again.
That's 4-2 centre breaks to Geelong.
Welsh under pressure, squeezes the kick out. Ling against Pepperell. Ling wins out to Riccardi. What a game the old timers had. And he gets decked after he kicks it.
Well, Stephen King's had 9 hit-outs in the final term. And the centre breaks are 4-2 in the final term in favour of Geelong. And
right down the middle from Mark Johnson.
Yes, sir.
He's had a great night, Mark Johnson, though. Boys, he battled his heart out. 23 disposals, 8 clearances, 3 goals, 1. He's done it all. But it's not going to be enough. Into the goal square. Wellman. And his kick finds Murphy.
Blazers long to not very much, and Corey takes the mark, and Geelong fans enjoy that.
Tim, this is Corey's 12th disposal in the final quarter. He's 21st for the game. He has really come good in this final 25 minutes.
Cats have been superb in the last term. Chapman outstanding all night. Enright for a little dab, and Mooney has it. Well, he can have a shot after the bell. It's been a watershed night for Geelong. They've ended the Bombers' winning streak. That won't trouble the scorers, but it won't worry the Cats or their fans one jot.